Hey traders, it's Reed from Shift to Alpha. And if you're a funded prop firm trader who keeps building beautiful profit only to watch it disappear right before your payout, this video is exactly for you. And if you're still on your first funded evaluation, or if you haven't proven yet that you can generate consistent profits with the strategy you have when it's traded correctly, or if you're still trying to figure out what your strategy is, this video isn't quite yet for you. Go build that out and make sure you have an edge first, then come back to this video. Because what we're about to break down, it really only applies to traders who can trade, who've proven that they can consistently draw money out the market, but something happens when the money gets real, when it's no longer a demo account, but it's a real funded account or a live account with your actual funds in it. When the payouts get close, that's when it starts to matter. And you know the moment, you're up. You've been executing incredibly clean all week. Your drawdown is comfortable. You're inside your rules. The account looks beautiful. And then you check the calendar and you realize that your payout is 3 days away for your funded account. And that's when your brain does the thing. You open the calculator, you start doing the math, and you start imagining in your mind that if you hold this same pace with your profits, if you get at least 2 more clean trades today, and that's an extra 1,500, 15,000, 20,000 in your bank account by Friday. And you feel that shift. It's not dramatic. It's not like a switch. It's more like a slow leak that begins. And this is what happens to so many funded traders. You have a cognitive drift. You start projecting future capital activities in the brain, which rewards those systems prematurely. Your entries start getting a little aggressive. Your stops get a little wide. You start holding trades way past exit because it could run a little bit more. And then one trade goes against you. And instead of taking the clean loss like you did all week, you move your stop loss, or you add to the position, or you take a revenge trade to try to get it back before the payout window. 48 hours later, the profit is gone. Maybe the account too, and you're sitting there thinking, I had it. I literally had the payout. I had a massive amount of profit waiting for me, and it all slipped away. Here's what actually happened, and it's not exactly what you think. Most traders chalk this up to greed or lack of discipline, or I just got emotional. But that's not a diagnosis, that's a label, and labels don't fix anything. The real reason you choke near payout is that your brain changed modes and you didn't realize it. Here's what's actually going on under the surface. The transition from executing a probabilistic edge to protecting a perceived asset occurs entirely before conscious awareness. This is happening without you even understanding it. That's why the core truth here is that your brain changed modes. You just didn't understand it. When you're trading well and the profit is building, there's a point where the profit stops being abstract and starts becoming real. It's a real number. You can spend a deposit in your bank account, rent, a car payment, proof that trading works for you. And the moment that shift happens, the moment the number on the screen becomes a number in your real life, your brain reclassifies the entire situation. It's no longer a trading session. It's a threat to something you already have. Because during a normal session, profit is just data on a screen. You execute probabilistically. You detach from the outcome, viewing capital simply as a tool for leverage, understanding what trades you can or cannot get into. But the moment you start to understand that this money becomes real, it's not just a number on the screen, but this is going directly into your bank account, a big shift starts to become. Your brain reclassifies the entire situation from an opportunity to a threat. And the reason why is simple is because your survival system doesn't distinguish between a physical threat and losing money you've mentally claimed. And that's the important part, is that you mentally claimed it. You don't have it yet. It could be a floating profit and loss because you're currently in a trade, or it could just be a snapshot of where you currently are in the week or in the month with your profits. But until you withdraw that money out of your account, it's not yours. However, your mind likes to mentally claim it. That's why your mind starts going into threat mode all the time. But we call it your survival system. It's the part of your brain that reacts to danger. It doesn't distinguish between a bear in the woods and losing money you've mentally already claimed. The response is the exact same. It's to protect it. Don't let it go. To fight for it. Run from anything that presents itself as danger. So your body starts to tighten. Your decision making narrows. You go into fight or flight mode. Now you're no longer thinking responsibly or thinking about risk management or thinking about probabilistic trading. You live or die on the next trade. Because when profit becomes yours before it's in your account, market fluctuations trigger the exact same neurochemical defense as a physical threat. So your thinking system, it's that part of your brain that follows your plan, evaluates your setup, manages your risk rationally. It gets pushed to the background and the habit system takes over. Whatever your default pattern is under stress, overtrading, widening your stop loss, revenge trading, hesitating on entries, that's what runs. Not because you choose it, because it was already loaded and waiting for a trigger. The trigger wasn't the market. The trigger was the meaning you assigned to the profit. That's why it's so dangerous to be able to actually claim profits before you have it, because now you assigned meaning to it, and that alone can be triggered. Why? Is because every trader wants to keep their profits. But when you start claiming profits, that's not yet in your bank account, but still in your trade account. Well, now you placed meaning on it because you made that profit real to you. So now everything the market does is perceived as a threat because it can take away what you have already claimed was yours. And here's the thing that a lot of traders that we come across don't necessarily understand. You cannot out-discipline a survival response. Your survival system fires faster than conscious thoughts ever will. That's exactly why you cannot out-discipline a survival response. You can't trade against your mind's natural wiring. It can't work. It will never work. It may work temporarily until, just like an edge, is going to play out over time, and it's not going to play out in your favor if you're still trying to out-discipline the survival response that every human being is born with. So by the time you're telling yourself, stick to the plan, your state shift has already happened and the execution break of your strategy is already in motion. And to be able to try to stay in that optimal zone while you're trading in a fast-paced, intense market is a recipe for disaster every time. And what we realized is most traders try the usual moves. They set a rule like, I won't check my P&L when I'm near a funded payout. They tell themselves to trade like it's one day at a time. They lower their position size. They try to pretend the payout doesn't exist. And those ideas aren't crazy, but they don't solve the real issue. Because the problem isn't what you're doing near the payout. The problem is what's happening inside your brain near the payout. What is happening with your nervous system as you're getting closer to it. And no rule you write on a sticky note is going to override a survival response that's been running since before you ever opened a trading account. You're trying to fix a real-time state shift with an after-the-fact rule, and that will always lose. What you actually need isn't more rules around a payout week. You need a system that catches your state shift while it's happening, before it becomes an irrational trade that you can't take back. And the cost of not having that system is absolutely brutal. It's not just the money you gave back. It's not just the challenge fee or losing an account or losing half the profits that should be in your bank account right now. It's the compounding damage to your own self-trust as a trader. Because every time you build profit and hand it back near a payout, part of you starts believing you can't finish, that you can't bring the profit to the finish line. And 48 hours to blow a week of perfect execution. And quite frankly, it takes a lot less than that because profit can be gone within 2 days. It can be gone within 1 day. It can be gone within a span of 1 or 2 trades. And all of the compounding, all of the steady gains, all of the great trades, reaffirming your disciplined nature as a trader, it flies out the window. Hence, you're losing your self-trust as a trader. So you truly begin to believe that you can't bring the profits past the finish line. You truly start to believe that you're always going to choke when it counts the most. That getting funded doesn't matter because you'll never actually get paid from it. And that belief bleeds into the next attempt and the one after that. You start trading with the ceiling above you that you built for yourself, not from the market, but from memory. That's the real cost. It's not the dollars, it's the erosion of your identity as a trader. And this becomes a deeply rooted limiting belief that so many traders carry, and it bleeds into the next account attempt. It bleeds into the next month of trading and the one after that. And all of a sudden, traders find themselves in a spiral that they can't get out because the true cost of choking on your payout, losing your profits right before they're coming into your account, blowing away all the progress you made right before it counts, it far outweighs the actual amount of money that you made. And memory consolidation here, repeating that behavior. So repeated choking near payout, it encodes a trauma response into your mind. And it's teaching the brain to anticipate failure when success is actually imminent. So now you start doing behaviors that you would normally never do, but your brain has literally been trained to do self-sabotaging behaviors right before the money actually becomes realized into your bank account. So we understand the problem, but what's the actual solution look like for this? Again, it's not a payout week rule. It's not adding more rules around when you're about to get paid or what to do while you're trading. It's not trade smaller on Thursdays or bigger on Wednesdays. It's an execution architecture. What we call it is your alpha trading plan. That's the exact system that we build around your existing strategy and design it to hold when your brain switches modes. And it is specifically personalized to each trader based on what your triggers and your tendencies are in the market. It uses the strategy you already have. It doesn't replace your strategy. It utilizes your edge. It makes your strategy psychologically defensible under the exact conditions that cause you to break it and give back your profits to the market. Now, that's something that takes real work to build properly because the specific moment your state begins to shift, the trigger that causes it, and the pattern that follows are different for every single trader. The architecture, which we call the alpha trading plan, it has to be built around your patterns, not someone else's, not a generic one size fits all, because everybody's emotional profile and makeup is different. That's why everybody approaches the market differently. Because think about it like this. Some traders have no issue with emotional discipline. That's why they're able to join the different trading groups, learn the strategy, and instantly make a lot of money and become one of the top students. And you learned the same exact strategy that they might have learned. And while their results are consistently hitting it out the park, yours are shaky. Some months you do great, other months you do terrible. And it's not because they learned a better strategy than you. You both have the same strategy, but you have a different emotional profile. You have different triggers that causes different responses that show up in different ways in your trading. So in order to get the full utilization of your edge, the full amount of profit you can get with the strategy you already have, we have to architect and design this alpha trading plan around what you already do so that it's built on your existing edge. It's defensible under the stress and the pressure in the market. It's designed to your unique triggers, but more importantly, it's not fighting against the natural wiring of your mind, but it's working with it. So you're not fighting an uphill battle or trying to swim upstream. So given how personalized this alpha trading plan is, it's something that just can't be given over a YouTube video. But what I do want to give you that I believe will be very applicable, no matter where you are in this journey of your trading or your emotional profile, is this one piece of advice for you. The next time you notice yourself doing payout math, calculating the dates, projecting the numbers, thinking about what the money means or what it could do, I literally want you to name that out loud. So of course we create this plan one-on-one with traders because there's no other way to do it. Say it out of your mouth. I'm in payout mode. I'm thinking about what this is going to do for me. I'm no longer thinking about the chart. I'm thinking about the next payout. Say it out loud. You're naming the state shift as it happens because the moment you label it, you move processing from the survival system to your thinking system. You buy yourself a few seconds of clarity before the pattern is able to take over. It's not the whole system. And that's not a fail-proof plan that will work every single time. It's simply one piece, but it's the difference between drifting into a state shift without even knowing it and being able to catch it while you still have a choice. That's the real game. You're not losing money because you can't trade. You're not giving back profits that your good strategy has earned simply because you don't like money. You're losing money because your brain reclassifies the session the moment the profit becomes personal. And you don't currently have a system that catches that transition. You have a system that's able to predictably draw profits out of the market over a span of trades, but you don't have a system to help control the person trading it. Being able to name the mode out loud, I understand it may sound silly. I get it. But think about it like this. If you're not able to identify what's happening and why it's happening, you can never be able to solve or fix it. And you will always be running obliviously and subconsciously to what happens. And you will be at the mercy of the markets without even realizing it. So while this is not an all be all solution, this is a powerful first step. Vocalizing the internal state. It activates the right part of the brain that we want active during trading. And it's actively dampening your fear response in real time to help buy you time in the market while you're trading to make those right decisions. So stop calling it choking. Call it what it is. A state shift triggered by meaning. And your job isn't to white knuckle your way through a payout. It's not to just be disciplined and try to force your way to a payout. That's trying to work against your mind's natural wiring. And like we already know, that won't work. It's to build a system that holds your execution steady when your brain is screaming to protect what you built. Because the market doesn't care that payout is Friday. It only cares whether you're inside your edge or outside of it. And right now, you're stepping outside of it at the worst possible moment, not because you're weak, but because you're human. The fix isn't to be less human. It's to build something that accounts for it. So I want you to literally practice this while you're trading. Name that state shift out loud once you start seeing your mind drift from the chart and what it's telling you to what your profit and loss is telling you. And no matter where you are in your trading, no matter how you feel, no matter how close it feels or how far it feels, no matter how emotionally vulnerable you feel in your trading, it doesn't matter where you are. Always remember, you're only one small shift to alpha. I'll see you in the next one.